Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lindsay, and this is my what I read last month. Wait, what are they called? September wrap-ups. This is my September wrap-up. By the way, does this fool anybody? A shirt change just so that like I didn't film all these videos on the same day? Let's begin. I'm gonna pull out my handy dandy notebook that almost whipped me in the face with all these built-in book marks. Oh gosh, this is gonna be a lengthy wrap-up. Oh no. Because I read 4 things in September. Lame. I was planning on reading at least 8 to 10 things. In August I read 9 books, well, 8.5 books. I DNF'd a book at 55%, but man, September just was really rough for me. It was a rough month. So let me go grab those 4 books and let's talk about them. So you might have noticed I only grabbed 3 books off the shelf. That's because the 4th book I read was an audiobook through the library. So let's get started on the physical books I read from my actual shelves, the books I actually own. So the first book I read was The Well of Ascension by Start over. Here. So was The Well of Ascension. Yeah, Ascension. Why does Ascension sound funny? The Well of Ascension. Anyways, you can read it. The Well of Ascension. This is by Sanderson. This is the 2nd book in the Mistborn trilogy. I read the 1st book in the Mistborn trilogy earlier this year, and it was amazing. It's very long. It's an epic fantasy. It was my first epic fantasy, and I'm so happy I dove into it because normally politics are not my thing in books, and it's really kind of boring, and I don't really care, and I just want like fucking sex, violence, drugs, and romance. I don't know. But politics really isn't my thing. And these have quite a bit of politics, but it's evenly balanced with this awesome magic system where the Mistborn can eat metal or ingest metal. Yeah, they can ingest metal, and then they burn the metal for different powers. And the main character is this badass girl. Well, when you first meet her, she's pretty timid, you know, because she was like abandoned and all this good stuff. But anyways, super, super great story. I love the 2nd book. Obviously, I can't tell you exactly what happens in this book, but I can't wait to read the 3rd. It's a great bridge. I'm trying to think of something negative to say about it. Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about it. I really enjoyed this story. Sanderson is great at just looping in all of these loose ends that you don't think are actually going to mean anything or come together at the end. And they do. So I'm excited to see how at least the 3rd book in the series kind of ends the story. So this was really, really good. And I definitely recommend. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Read it. The next book I read in September was Furiously Happy by, oh my gosh, Jenny Lawson. So Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. I don't know why I keep covering my mouth when I talk. You probably can't hear me. Anyways, I listened to this audiobook through, I want to say it was Hoopla or Libby, one of those library apps. And I absolutely love the audiobook. Jenny Lawson narrates it herself, and her voice and just the character she puts in the voice, you know, like some narrators, there's hair on me. Some narrators, you know, just aren't the most articulate or energizing or engaging kind of readers. But Jenny Lawson did a great job with her own story because it's her own story, it's her own words. So the voice is just so great in the audiobook. If you're looking, well, if you didn't care for this or you're on like maybe the fence about it, try the audiobook because it was just so good. So this is just Jenny Lawson explaining how she has overcome, well, maybe not overcome, but how she deals with her anxiety, depression, illnesses, just in her day-to-day life. She has a husband, she has a kid, she's, you know, writing books, and she talks about just her fears and her crazy adventures with her friend, and like, it's just a good time. It's really, really good, and it made me think, and it made me feel better. So I really loved it. Would recommend to everybody. 5 out of 5 stars. Next book I read in September was Time Machine by H.G. Wells. This book was very short, very quick, and it was great to just pick up and read quickly. I was just so busy last month. But let's see. If you've ever seen the movie of Time Machine, it's very similar, at least from what I remembered of Time Machine, the movie. I watched that movie when I was a kid, and then, of course, I read this not too long ago, and they're very similar. I remembered a lot. I didn't remember, like, the love interest in here. Like, there's a kind of love interest. Yeah, there's a love interest. They're love interests. Anyways, I didn't remember that from the story, really, but I mostly remembered the movie and those really fucked up monkey alien things that were really scary. Anyway, and they, like, ate people. That's burned into my memory. Anyways, the book's really great. It's a classic. Another classic down. This was a good one. 4 out of 5 stars. The last book I read in September, I do not have a physical copy of it because I don't own it. It's actually, I borrowed it from my library, and it was, Girls of Paper and Fire. I'll try to put up a little picture of it, and I don't know the author's name off the top of my head. I apologize, but it'll be up here or there or wherever. I'll pop it up on the screen. Girls of Paper and Fire, and this follows, I can't remember her name now because I suck. But anyways, our main character, she is basically taken by the Dragon Lord or the Dragon King, and as a concubine, and there's, 10 other girls, 8 other concubines or something, and the story follows her story between all these girls and how they're groomed and prepared to be concubines, but they also have to be, presentable in court, so they do all these lessons, but, they see the king's brutality. There's just brutal, because of the different classes of people. I didn't mention that. There's different classes of people. There's a paper class, and then there's like a moon class and a steel class or something. But paper are just normal humans, and then everything else are like part demon or full demons. So the, dragon, no, I've been calling him Dragon King. He's a demon king. Anyways, demon king guy, not a nice guy. He wants to fuck all these girls. And so they're rounded up, and they have sex with him whenever he wants. And if they refuse, he beats the shit out of them, and then they get healed. It's kind of fucked up. But you go into the story knowing that it's really messed up story. But there is like this love interest that our main character, it's kind of forbidden love. She falls in love with someone, but she's the king's concubine. She's not supposed to, but anyways, it gets very dramatic, and it was pretty good. It was more of the middle of the road for me. As the story was very predictable. I could see where it was all going. Nothing really surprised me. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it was just it was a good book. So middle of the road. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I would definitely recommend if you're interested. It was a good one. So that's all the books I read in September. It's really sad and pathetic. 3 books plus 1 library book. It's not my best month for sure, but it was a good month star rating wise. This, Brandon Sanderson was a 5-star. Jenny Lawson was a 5-star. So these were good books, and I'm glad I read them. Hope you're having a great October, because this is going up very late. So check out my other video I just loaded up before or after this one, which is what I'm going to read in October. My TBR and my challenge jar picks what I read for the month. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Check you later. Bye.